concept we should remember, because when we are living in a society, when we are working as a president, or if you are a beggar, whether you are a small ant or an elephant, all of these lives are nothing but the need of the solar logos in his evolution. You are a part of his evolution. You just can't say, I won't do it. Suppose a particular cell in our body says, no, I want to be independent. What your body do? It will just expel it. Similarly, if you don't want to follow what the sun god's evolutionary needs of the present time want you to be, you will be simply expelled. That is what Lord Krishna said, Kshipam ajasram ashubhan asurishveva yonishu. Those who are not compatible, those who are not tuned with this cosmogenesis, those who are not tuned with the solar logos need of evolution for himself, and the purpose of our creation is nothing but his need. This is what we should understand, that we are already a part of the solar logos, and that is what we mean when we pray to the Guru, Akhanda Mandala Akaram, Vyaptam Yena Characharam, Yat Padam Darshitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So the basic concept of a Guru is not liberation. The basic need of a Guru for a disciple is not to solve his problems. But the basic need of a Guru is to teach him that he is a part of the great evolutionary being, which we in India call it the sun. The Theosophists call it as the solar logos, and Aurobindo calls it as the supermind. And Pujya Gurudev calls it as the Gayatri Mantra, the Gayatri consciousness. So cosmogenesis tells us that in great cycles of time, the four yugas following one after the another, the Krita Yuga, the Treta Yuga, the Dwapara Yuga, the Kali Yuga, each following in great cycles, probably extending to crores and crores of years, slowly the world is formed. And Blavatsky very clearly says that if one wants to understand the process of creation, one should understand the septenary nature of creation. Just as when chemists want to understand the behavior of the atoms, even though we have more than 92 or 112 atoms, 92 natural and the other made by science, they are grouped into very clearly into 7 groups plus the 8th group, which is known as the inert group. Therefore, just as the mineral kingdom, the atoms are divided into 7 groups, similarly, even the states of consciousness also are divided into 7 groups. The names given to them is, according to Theosophy, starting from the highest plane, the first is known as the Adi plane or the divine plane. The second is known as the Anupadaka plane or the plane without vestures. The third is the Atma plane, the plane of the spirit. The fourth is the Buddhi plane or the wisdom plane. The fifth is the mental plane. The sixth is the astral plane or the Kama plane. And of course, the last is what we understand as the physical world, the Sthula Jagat, the physical plane. Before we go deeper into these aspects, let us make it very clear what we mean by the planes. When I say these 7 planes, it doesn't mean that the planes are very clearly demarked. One plane fuses into the other plane. But we can be very clear about the planes and their nature. A physical plane, the most material sthula plane, the solid, And the most subtle divine plane, Adi of the Sthula plane, have something very much in common. But what is not common is the density. The formation of the physical plane is very strong and very near in the physical plane, whereas in the Atma plane, the first plane, the Adi plane, the divine plane of the physical, the matter is very much thrown apart. But still the matter can be seen there. But once you go to the next higher Kama plane, the qualities of the particles change. This we must understand. The planes are different, but they are continuous. And each plane has got its own very specific measures or qualities which are known as the tanmatras of that plane. So when we talk about the physical plane, its tanmatra is smell. So the nature and qualities of the physical plane are dominated by the measure of the ability to which you can smell. But we know that certain animals have a much better smelling power than us. So all of us who can smell are in the Prithvi plane or in the physical plane. But human beings have different tanmatras or measures of smelling. Other animals have different measures of smelling. Especially there are some flowers which emit some very beautiful smells, but unfortunately we can't smell them. Our range of smell is limited. In this way you should try to understand the planes. The physical plane is always related to smell. And if you can't smell, for example when you are having cold, that means your physical plane contact is cut. In the next plane, after the physical plane, we come to the astral plane. In the astral plane, the taste is most important. So the world of astral is controlled by tastes. And when I say tastes, it doesn't mean the taste of the tongue only. You have a taste for literature. You have a taste for religion. We in Sanskrit call it as abhiruchis. So all these which we term as tastes fall into the astral plane. So people may have different tastes, but they are living in the same astral plane. One may have a taste for something which is very hot, pungent. He also belongs to the astral plane. And one may have a taste for sweets. He is also in the astral plane. And one may have a devotion, a taste for divinity. He wants more and more divinity, he wants to read more and more books. So all these states fall into astral plane. So smell, physical plane. Taste or ruchi, astral plane. And then we go to the next higher plane, from down, from below. We call it as the mental plane. And in the mental plane, the colors and form dominate. Your own physical form, naturally therefore means, is your mental creation, or is a mental plane creation. This concept you have to remember, but again you have to remember that all these are interlinked. You just can't say that I will belong only to a particular plane, but a particular plane may be dominant. So in the mental plane, all this creation is in the mental plane because all this creation has forms. And whenever you talk about a form, rupa, it means you are talking about the mental plane. And then the visible sun, the planets, the stars, they also belong to the mental plane because they have a form. But what about fire? It has a form, but not a very clear form. So in fire, we have a very peculiar relationship where you have